Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, my name is Ashley, and today we're here to talk about my 5-star reads so far for the year, or rather, lack thereof. As of filming this, it is almost the end of April, the 4th month of the year, and I have had no 5-star reads yet so far this year. And I'm starting to get a little disheartened about it. I'm kind of finding it hard to pick up books, but at the same time scared to pick up books because I'm afraid that I'm not going to love the books. And it's not even that I haven't enjoyed the books that I'm reading. I've had at least one, maybe two, that were just not the greatest, but I haven't had any books that I've hated. And so today I thought we would kind of talk about the trends that I've had over the years of 5-star reads, and maybe talk about ones that could potentially be 5-star reads for me. Let's jump into this. So far this year, I have read 23 books, I think, and half of those probably have been audiobooks, and I really think that that may be what's attributing to the lack of 5-star reads. I've never been a big audiobook listener, and when I do listen to audiobooks, I tend not to rate them as highly. That's not always the case, but they generally tend to be more middle of the road versus 5-star reads. So of the 23, that makes about 11 or 12 that have been audiobooks. And the other half, a lot of those are books that I've read to my 8-year-old. So I don't even rate them, which means a lot of the books that I've read for myself, if they have been physical, then I haven't read a whole lot to kind of flesh that out. Looking back through the years, I thought I would see my trends. 2024, I read 88 books last year. 7 of those were 5 stars. And then that got to me thinking, like, that's not that many 5 stars versus how many books I've read. Again, last year I read a lot of books to my child, so there's that. But then I was like, well, how many in the years prior to that? So I went back to about 2020 and looked at all of the years. 2024, I read 88 books. 7 of those were 5 stars. In 2023, I read 42 books, and that year I didn't read a whole lot to my daughter. I mean, a few probably, but not nearly as much as I have been the last couple years, and I had 5 stars. 2022, I read 73 books that year. 9 of them were 5 stars. 2021, I read 58 books, and 8 of those were 5 stars. And 2020, I read 52 books, and 8 of those were 5 stars. So then I was looking at all of my 5-star reads of 2024. I had 7 of them, and 3 of them were Harry Potter, which were rereads. So I was like, well, I knew those were going to be 5 stars. Then I had 4 others that were new to me last year that ended up being 5 stars. So then I was like, well, how many of those 5 stars in those previous years were rereads? So of the 5 in 2023, none of those were rereads. Of the 9 in 2022, none of those were rereads. In 2021, I had 8 5 stars. Only 1 of those were rereads. And in 2020, I had 8 5 stars. 6 of those were rereads. So only 2 of them were new to me that year. 1, 7, 9, 5, and 4. Those are how many new books to me were 5 stars in the last 5 years. Then I was like, well, you know, I have plenty of time to get a handful of them before the end of the year. But usually I have one by now, don't I? So I went and I looked at that too. So last year, 2024, my very first 5-star read came in January. And I know exactly what book that was. It was the very first book I read last year. And I was like, how am I going to beat that? But it ended up being the top. It was not the entire year. Anyways, 2023, my first 5-star read was in January again. 2022, my first 5-star read was in January. 2021, my first 5-star read was in February. And 2020, my first 5-star read was in February. So I usually get a 5-star read sometime in the first 2 months. And here we are in April, the end of April, and I have yet to have a 5-star read. It's a little disheartening. But at the same time, I'm like, maybe there's going to be some really good books coming. I really hope so, because if it's just going to go downhill from here, I hope it doesn't do that. But I thought, since I've been looking through, maybe if I pulled out some books that I think might be 5 stars for me, I can sit those out and really try and make a point to read those this year and then see if they do end up being 5 stars. So I pulled about 5 books that I think might be 5 stars for me. Figured that was a pretty good number, and I'm just going to go down the stack. It's in the order that I pulled them out from my shelves. There wasn't any specific order or anything. So the first one I have is The Words We Lost by Nicole Deese, and this is a Christian romance. I've heard some really, really good things about this series and about Nicole Deese as well, so I'm really hoping to get into this book, and I really hope I love it as much as some other people do. Then I have Ghost Station by S.A. Barnes. He wrote Dead Silence, which is one that I did listen to and gave 5 stars. It's one of very few. I really, really liked it, and so I bought this like as soon as it came out, and I haven't read it yet, but I'm really hoping that this will also be 5 stars. This is a sci-fi novel. It might even be sci-fi horror. Next I have If Only I Had Told Her by Lauren Nowlin, and this is the second in a duology, but the first one I listened to on audio on a road trip. I listened to it all in one day, and I gave it 5 stars, and I loved it so much that I immediately, before we even got to our destination, went to Walmart and bought the duology because I loved it that much. And I've heard some mixed things about this second book, but I am really, really hoping that I love it just as much as the first one, especially because I've let it sit for a while. I remember the story, but maybe having that separation of time. I think I read like the first one last year, so hopefully because I've let it sit a little bit that it will hit just as well. I'm hoping so, but this is a YA romance. Then we have this massive book, Roots by Alex Haley. This is a drama series on TV, like one of those movies that's broken into 4 parts. And I went to visit my grandma a couple years ago, and she had mentioned this book and was like, "You've never seen that movie?" And I was like, "No, I've never heard of it." And I guess they had an old one, and they just had come out with a new one, and so we actually watched all 4 parts of the new movie miniseries, and it was really, really good. I had never heard of this before, but she kind of acted like everybody knew about it. I think the book will probably be even better, so I'm hoping to read this and hoping to love it just as much, if not more, than the series drama. And then lastly, of course, we have The Women by Kristen Hanna. I have been hearing so many really great things about this, and I really, really want to read it, and I have no idea why I haven't picked it up yet. I think I'm just a little bit scared that this one's not going to hold up to expectations. I am really hoping to love this. I have read 2 other Kristen Hanna books, and the first one was The Four Winds, which I really did love, and I think I gave that one 5 stars. But then I read The Nightingale, and that seems to top every other of her books for a lot of people. But it was only 4 stars for me. I actually liked The Four Winds better, but I still really, really enjoyed it. I really just need to read it. I've been hearing such great things. I do think this one could be a 5-star read for me. Those 5 books are the 5 that I'm going to kind of set out prominently throughout the rest of the year and really try to get those read, and hopefully I'll find some 5-star reads either between those or some other books. I'm really starting to itch for that 5-star feeling, and I think I might try my hand at doing a reading vlog looking for my first 5-star read. If that is something that you would be interested in, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm not a big reading vlog person. I just don't feel like my life is that interesting, but If following my path of finding a 5-star read would be something you would watch and would like to see, maybe I'll do that. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.